This is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful and thankful to have you here on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about timing. Timing is everything. But before we get started, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting, empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. Okay, so today I was having a day like every other day where I listen to podcasts, I read some sort of book, or I learn something educational. I do my 20-20-20 thing. I exercise, which this morning I did not exercise. So after this video, I do plan on exercising so that I can stay on my regimen and I can get my blood pumping and also get my body used to just being on this new exercise program that I'm doing. And so this one is a little more strenuous because it's longer. It's a lot more recovery time. It's a lot more active stretching before. So before I do active stretching, and then I do the exercise, which is vigorous activity, and then I do stretching, which I've shortened my stretching time. But that's neither here nor there. So as I'm going through today, I start to learn a lot about timing. And I know I've talked about timing in a different video in the past, but today I had it spoken to me in such a different way. Sometimes we can get so beside ourselves and we just feel like, I'll do it tomorrow. Or we feel like, oh, God just taking his time, not in a good way. Not like when you see a fine person, you'd be like, God took his absolute time. Not like that. But, and I don't usually say that. Other people usually say that, but it's still like, anyways. But yeah. And so as we are going through this timing thing, I think it's important for us to remember that our timing is not God's timing. And sometimes we can want something so badly at a moment and we don't even realize that we're not ready yet. We don't realize that we're still in the pruning process, that we're still in the potter's wheel, that God is still molding and sculpting us into the person that he's created us to be. And sometimes we can get so beside ourselves, we could be like, no, I'm good. I'm better than I ever been. And that could be true, but you could still not be ready. There could be things that are still broken on the inside of you. There could be things that still need a little bit of pruning and prepping in order for it to be exactly where it needs to be to take you to the next level or to introduce new things into your life. You might say you want to be a millionaire, but if you're not a good steward of the finances that you have right now, there's no way that you're going to be a good steward of millions of dollars. You're not even a good thousandaire. You can't be a good millionaire, So I think it's important for us to be realistic with ourselves and saying that when God is taking his timing, it's because it's what's best for us and not because he's just trying to withhold something from us. If you want a relationship, God's not just trying to make you be single forever. He wants to make sure that you love yourself enough, you respect yourself enough, you honor and respect him enough to have standards and boundaries, to make sure that you don't just fall into the ways of the world, to make sure that you don't just lower your standards and your boundaries for anybody, that you have healthy standards and boundaries, that you are really willing to wait for the person that God has for you. And the waiting season is not always easy. I'm going to be the first person to say that most of the time, I don't even want the thing yet that I'm praying to God for. I'm like, God, I want this thing in your timing. But I get so impatient in the waiting season. I'm like, can I have it now? And God's like, listen, it's not the time. And so I think it's really important for us to just know that God's not withholding it because he doesn't want us to have it. He's withholding it because he wants to make sure that he's preparing us properly. And he wants to make sure he's preparing that thing properly for us as well. So while we're on this journey, it's important for us to take as many lessons as possible. And in this season of my life, I want to learn as many things as I possibly can. If God wants to teach me to be a better woman, I want to learn how I can be more respectful of others and myself, how I could become a better listener, how I can be more emotionally intelligent. So when I'm in certain scenarios, I can learn to respond in a better way. And I know every person is different, so I'm not just going to know all the answers to everything. But while I'm in the waiting season, I want to be the best woman that I could be. I want to be the best mother, the best family member, the best friend. Everything that is my responsibility on my end that I have control over, I want to make sure that I jump into it. I walk into it intentionally, that I'm doing it because I want to be everything that God intended for me to be in my life. And it's not easy. I know I say that a lot in past videos, but it's not. When you're walking this straight and narrow path, a lot of the times you're doing it alone. Not everybody's on the same path with you. And even if someone has a similar belief system, or they have a similar journey, their tests, their trials, their tribulations are not the same as yours. And it's always good to have a person that has your back. And I believe that God surrounds you with people who help you in certain seasons of your life, because he knows that that burden is too hard to carry alone. And if you're like me, you're like, nah, I can do this on my own. I got it by myself. And God's like, I done sent you 10 people. You either going to accept the people or you want to struggle. Like, do you want this to be hard? And then I got to be real with myself. And I got to say, I got to humble myself and just accept the help from wherever it's coming from. If I have a person that's trying to help me in a way, I need to just say, okay, and humbly accept their help and say, okay, God sent you here for a reason. God sent me in your life for a reason. I need to make sure that I'm making the most of it, that I'm really honoring and respecting that thing, that I'm appreciating it and not just taking it for granted. And so every season of my life, I learned something new about myself. Like when I think I'm healed and I think I'm good to go, God's like, you got to be quicker than that. Oh my gosh, no, but seriously, that's how I be feeling. Like I be thinking I got it together, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so good in this area. I'm emotionally intelligent now. I learned like ways to verbalize or to like speak my truth or speak word to power, whatever else. And the next thing you know, something happened, and my emotions be like, and then reality be like, listen, you got to get it together. Like I got to mentally think about it. I got to make sure that I respond in the best way. I got to make sure that I am being respectful. I got to make sure that although I may feel this way, that everything is not a personal attack. This person may be saying something from a loving place. I need to listen to constructive criticism so I can be a better person. Everything is not a battle. Not everybody is out to get you. You know, sometimes you just have to accept the constructive criticism and learn to utilize it to the best of your ability so that you can become a better person. And when I say you, I mean me as well. I need to make sure that I am taking everything that God is bringing me through and utilizing it so that I can become a better woman, so I can become a better family member, friend, everything in my life. And as I'm listening to my podcast this morning, it starts to talk about timing, and it talks about how God doesn't mess up your life, your path, your plans, or your journey. It says that this is your unique life plan. Sometimes people need time to grow and time to learn and time to develop. And it's nothing personal. Like you could be in a completely healthy relationship and you could be like, I don't understand why it didn't work out. And the whole time the timing is wrong. The whole time you still got some preparing to do. And it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means that you're in preparation. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with another person. It just means they're in preparation. Everybody is learning different things and nobody is perfect but God. So I think that when it comes to this timing thing, it's important to know that everything that you're doing in life is for a reason. Everything that you're doing is intentionally setting you up for the things that God has for you. And sometimes we don't want to wait for it. If you're like me, you real impatient. Like I've been working on patience for like years now. And every time I get a little better in one area, I get tested in another area. And I'm like, I still got some work to do. I might not be all the way patient yet. Because God would be like, okay, you need to wait on this thing. And I'm like, but I'm ready. And then God's like, okay, drop test number 1. And I'm like, failed. Okay, maybe I wasn't ready. And that's how he'll do. He'll do little tests throughout your life to see if you really about that God life, to see if you really about it. Like if he gives you this thing that you prayed for, are you going to really cherish it? Are you going to really honor it? Are you going to really take gentle care of it? Or are you going to screw it up? Are you going to mess up the situation? Are you going to self-sabotage? Are you going to push away the things that God is trying to give you in your life? Because if that's what you're doing, then you're not ready yet. And although you may want to be ready, you wanting to be ready and actually being ready is not the same thing. So when it comes to the job, when it comes to the money, when it comes to the relationship, everything in your life, that is coming on God's timing, know that God's timing is perfect timing. And even though it's a hard pill to swallow, even though it takes patience and discipline and it can be hard sometimes, you are going to make it through it. You can make it through it, and you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Don't ever feel like you have to go through it alone, because God will always he will always introduce and present people into your life who will help you through this period of your life. So hold on to those people and appreciate them for who they are, so that you guys can lean into each other instead of feeling like you have to go at it alone. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Okay, there's one more thing. So also, when you're wanting things in life, stop wishing so hard for something that the time has not come for that thing yet. Like, you want to be a millionaire so bad. Stop saying, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. Oh, I gotta have this money. I can't stand being broke. I want this money so bad. Now you're idolizing the money, and you're not even allowing the money to come to you. You gotta really not care. Like, you want to be a millionaire, but it is what it is. Like, you're gonna always have money regardless, because you always gonna work for it. Your mind is always gonna come up with a solution, a way to make more money. So don't ever feel like you have to be at a lack of anything. And when it comes to the relationship, you're praying, oh, I just want to get married. I want to be in a relationship so bad. You want to be in a relationship so badly, you're pushing away the thing that God is trying to give you in your life. You have to really be genuinely detached from the things that you want in life, and just focus on just being the best version of you. And in God's timing, everything is going to come perfectly. Nobody writes a story like God. So don't ever feel like he just forgot about you. Don't even feel like he's just trying to play some horrible game on you. Don't ever feel like, well, I do all of these things right. Why isn't God giving me this? God gave you life. Like, you are here because God created you to be here. Everything else is just a bonus. So whether you have it or you don't, you are still good exactly as you are. And when those things come into your life, it would just be an added bonus. You don't need it. You might need it for your purpose. But at this moment, appreciate where you are and just be the best version of yourself. If you want something in your life, go for the things that you want. Be so content with your life the way that it is, that when you become a millionaire, that's just extra. When you get into this relationship, that's just extra. When you get married, that's just extra. It's not something that you waited for. It's something that happened at God's perfect timing. So this whole lackluster mindset, this whole scarcity mindset that a lot of people are having, get rid of it, because everything that's yours is yours, and can't nobody ever take it away from you. Don't ever feel like you gotta be in competition for something that's yours. Don't ever feel like you are never gonna get the thing because someone else got something. That's their thing. Obviously, if they got it, it's theirs. Like, let them have it. Because your thing is coming to you, and can't nobody take it from you. You gotta really be so content in the life that God is giving you. And you may want more, but know who you are. Like, know what it is that you're doing in your life, that you're focused on building your dream life, that you're focused on doing all of the things that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, and take a step towards it. And then one day when you look up, you'll look back and you'll be like, I can't believe I came this far. And it will be because you never gave up on yourself. It'll be because everything happened in God's perfect timing. So thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I know I said it like a question, but I will be on here tomorrow. Friday and Saturday, it's going to be, I might not be here Friday and Saturday, but I will be here Sunday. And unless the Holy Spirit, leads me to be here. God willing. But yeah, have a good night. I will see you guys tomorrow.